Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Coogan, Associate Professor and Chair of Graduate Graphic Design at Boston University. I'm really happy to be presenting to the design incubation community. Thank you, Camilla, for your work getting us all together. And thank you for listening in on my talk about the design history reader. This talk is about design history narratives and the pedagogy used to foster those stories. We all know that design history, and well, history in general, is under interrogation. It's too patriarchal, too Eurocentric. The research that inspired the design history reader asked, how do we share the stories that actually reflect the diversity found in the classroom? There's a lot going on at the moment, and these realities pose an opportunity to reflect. Where do we stand? How do we as people, as designers, and as educators respond? How do we contribute to change, to more enhanced cultures of empathy and inclusion? Curriculum has become a bit of a scapegoat in this charged era. Specifically, dominant curricular models and historical narratives have come under renewed scrutiny. The climate invites change. Nicole Hannah-Jones' groundbreaking The 1619 Projects redirects the focus of U.S. history to the African American experience, confronting the status quo of American school curricula. Paulo Freire's Pedagogy of the Oppressed envisions educational spaces where the conventional teacher-student dynamic transforms into fertile ground for diverse contributions. Here, the classroom transcends its four walls, evolving into a space where every voice matters. Finally, we have to acknowledge inherent bias in historical representation. History is biased. This research grapples with the paradox that while historians intentionally craft historical discourse based on collective knowledge, it often remains bound to a singular perspective. As the call for a decentralized history gains momentum, we must examine the lens through which stories are being told, the conventional dominant-subordinate classroom structure, and the inherent bias of history as a narrative bound to a singular perspective. When my history or graphic design students embraced the plural design history pedagogy, those perspectives multiplied. There are three key components to this plural pedagogy. First, revised slide presentations integrate more women of color, more women, people of color, and underrepresented stories into the curriculum. These lectures model the inclusion of non-canonical content and contextualize the work within the broader canon. The objective is to show more students, more of themselves throughout historical dialogue. In interactive lab sessions, collaborative discussions informed by supplementary readings and written responses commence. It's here where students develop a critical view of the canon, what it is not, and what it could be. Students take a deep dive on one of these insights in a culminating writing assignment. Students challenge the Western design history canon through long-form essays that centrally target underknown designers and design movements who they believe deserve representation. Those responses comprise the design history reader. In this book, the specific texts mark contours of a narrative that extend beyond the dichotomy of established versus marginalized. Chapters inform conceptual ecosystems, highlighting visual and contextual symmetries that bridge dominant and minority discourses. Our work has yielded a rich library of resources and influences, and here are just a few design artifacts. Here's the Gija Asian American Student Activist newspaper. China's modern woodcut movement representing political resistance. Bollywood film posters that mark the development of an overlooked design culture. British fairy tales used by colonizers to display and reinforce power dynamics and stereotypes. Angel Decor's work representing an authentic Native identity. Hip-hop flyers that are some of the few remaining artifacts of New York's hip-hop origin story. Peruvian textiles showcasing the longest continuous tradition of textile production in the world. A Taiwanese graphic design legacy informed by colonial occupation. Indian political posters supporting the Indian independence movement. Protest posters of Japan's fourth wave feminist art group, the Tomorrow Girls Troupe. The irreverent Malajute film poster from 1970s Pakistan. David Voinorovich's AIDS activist posters. The New York School's mimeograph infatuation. The emergence of Indian modernism. A Taiwanese design language and industry restricted to and informed by occupied forces. Emory Douglas's Black Panther Party activism. Brazil's military dictatorship resistance and the Chapocolismo movement. Korean typography and its Chinese influence. These stories and so many more make up this iteration of the Design History Reader. The Plural Pedagogy helps students locate their lived experiences and unique cultural backgrounds within the canon. It's a teaching experience that encourages a sense of agency within students. It authenticates the canon, teaching students to have a broader view of what the canon even is or includes. Taken together, those perspectives define an emerging vision of a contemporary graphic design history discourse. This is just a starting point. I hope the reader prompts further interpretation and interrogation. It's not anywhere near being fully representative, but instead a living archive that expands with our collective research. I'll be in Chicago and I'll have a few readers available for purchase. Thank you.